So I apologize about the lighting, but no worries because I'm going to be sharing my screen, so you're not going to have to worry about seeing my image. I'm going to make sure that that it's working, and we'll get started. My internet connection has really been slow. So I hope I don't freeze up on you guys. But hopefully if it does, the recording will come out good. I've really been struggling with getting good internet reception, and I've been on the phone with Comcast, and okay, we're working. Okay, let me share on Facebook to remind everyone to jump on. Almost there. I hope everybody's having an awesome day. Here in Houston, it has been hot. Let me share on Facebook. Okay, let me see if anyone is on. I think not. Okay, guys, we're going to get the recording started in just one quick second, giving everyone a chance to jump on. I don't put my name up there, but it is coming out backwards. So you might have to leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to get started in one more minute. We'll launch this because this is being recorded. So the platform that I'm using, guys, it is Google Hangout, and usually when I do a Google Hangout, I give you a link to also jump on the Google Hangout with me, so that way we can interact with each other. But I wanted to do this recording that we can post on our team page. So I didn't do, just so we won't have all the other distractions, that's why I didn't use that link. At the end of the webinar, so take notes and any questions that you have. At the end of my presentation, we'll jump on the phone and we'll jump on the phone number and the code that we use in the morning for ACEs in action. That way we can all connect and I can answer any questions that you guys might have. So I think I will go ahead and get started. Let me just test it one more time, make sure that it's working. Okay, so let me just share my screen now. Um, difficult tools, and I'm going to do entire screen. And we're going to bring up the presentation. Hopefully that's working. Okay. So today we are going to talk about our recruiting system. And the reason that this came about, the reason that I'm doing this webinar out of the blue, I just have through having conversations with you guys and what's been going on, and looking back on my business. So as you know, it's March, April, May, June, July. So 14, 15, 16. So I have been my live shot business. I've been in business with live shots for now 16 months. So, just looking back at what I've done in the last 16 months and what's working and what wasn't. And so, that we're having right now, we're having a big build and bliss with Kimmy. Basically, between Kimmy and Lisa, they're going to be traveling to different cities and they're going to hit Houston. So, Luz and I will be affected, and my other team members that are here. And Dawn, Lisa is heading your way at the end of this month. So Kimmy is doing a building list uh, to take us through all those uh, launch events that they're doing together, as well as to take us into ignition. Her goal with this building list is that we just grow massively as a company, and then we have an awesome turnout at ignition, where that's where all the magic happens, is when we all get together, and for 3 days you're surrounded by people that think like you and that dream like you, and you're surrounding yourself with your dreams and your goals, and you just come back on fire. And we'll come back from ignition ready to close the year and really get a head start, really start strong for 2016. And just saying that, I can't believe that it's already July. Just like that, ignition is going to be here in September, and then just like that, it's going to be the end of the year, and we're going to be celebrating 2016. So this is the good time, being July, this is the good time through all the excitement that's going on right now. And because it's July, this is a good time to look back and say, okay, what's going on with my business? And for those of us that have been in live shots since the beginning of the year, where am I with my dreams and goals? And even if you weren't with live shots in the beginning of the year, where are you with your dreams and your goals since you did start your live shots business? So for me, that was kind of, I did that. I looked back and see where am I and what's going on. And, I'm not building, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I'm not hiding anything here, because you guys can see my numbers, and not necessarily my numbers, but you can see what I'm doing, and how I'm building, because you can see when I introduce someone new to the tribe, and I actually haven't introduced anyone in 2 months. So that made me stop and look at it. And as well as you heard my training call with Richard, I did a coaching call with Lisa and with Richard. First, I did it one-on-one with Lisa, and then I did it with Richard. And you heard on that call. If you haven't heard it yet, it's posted on Live Shots on our back office. You just go to the marketing center and you'll see coaching calls on the right-hand side. Click on that, and then you'll just look for my name. But on there, we talk about my stats. And when you look at my stats, I'm basically comes down to talking to one person a day, and getting 1 out of 3 to take a look, and getting 1 out of 10 to join the business. So I talked to 3 people. One of them will say, yes, I'm open to taking a look. I do 10 presentations, and one of them will say, okay, I join your business. And it's just not a great number. It's an awesome number if we're new. It's an awesome number to start with. But for me, that I've been here already for 16 months, my ratio should be better. Now I am very excited that my ratio of in open to taking a look has dramatically increased. And before, when I first started, 10 people that I would invite to take a look, one would say yes, I will take a look. And then I think it used to be, can't remember now, but I think if I would talk, I would do 44 presentations. That sounds too much. Maybe 14 presentations. I can't remember now my stats in the beginning. So my stats are getting better, much, much better for people that I say, yes, I'll take a look. But my stats as bringing people into the company are not great. And I went back and I looked at my numbers and I looked at how many people I have brought into the company. And I meant to look it up, guys, but I didn't get a chance. But I brought in about 16 people into my team. So I have recruited 16 people into my team, and most of those numbers, guys, were last year. This year, I have only brought in 4 people. Yeah, I think it's 4 people. So in the last 4 months, I have only recruited 4 people. Um, so out of those 16 that I have recruited, most of them were last year, so started from last March. So 4 people, that gives us what, 12 people. Last year I recruited 12 people. The way I'm going building now, I've only recruited for this year, and at this pace, I'm only going to recruit 8 this year, and those numbers are not good. I should be doubling my numbers of last year. Last year I brought in 16. This year I should be doubling that. It should be at least 30. But at the pace that I'm going, it's not going to work. So that made me think about what exactly am I doing different? What am I doing different? What was working last year that's not working this year? And last year, guys, I was working with this system that I'm going to introduce to you. And I was faithful about working with this system. But at the beginning of the year, after I went to the retreat, just had several conversations here and there with Lisa and with Kimmy and with Richard. And then they changed the system. They changed, we went from videos to a flip chart presentation. So just having all those changes, I shifted the way I do things. So I looking back now, I see that that's not working for me. Now, so the system that I'm getting ready to introduce to you, it was not something that I made up. It was something that I got from an awesome mentor that I have, which is Randy Gage. Gage is a multimillionaire in network marketing. I do recommend highly that you look him up on Facebook, and I also recommend that I can't think of the name of the app now, but if you haven't downloaded the app, Periscope, download the app Periscope, and yes, Periscope, and then follow him because he does short little trainings every day. Anyway, I was very inspired by Randy Gage in the beginning of my career, even before I joined Live Shots. And it was actually through him that I found out the potential in this industry, network marketing. I found out how huge he was because he was the first leader that I heard that was earning over $100,000 a month. So I was just blown away, and I had the chance to hear him speak 3 or 4 times. They do that every year, and it used to be here in Houston because this is where our Donak resides, but they took it to Florida. So I learned this system from him. And so what does that tell us? That this system works because, like I said, he's a multimillionaire, and he's the type of leader that doesn't just do the same thing over and over and over. He's been doing network marketing for, I think, over 20 years, if I remember correctly. But he changes the way he does things as the business changes, as the business grows. He doesn't just stick to the same thing always. He always stops and looks at what's going on and what's changing in the industry. At one time in the industry, it was all about one-on-ones and flip chart presentations, but then video came and then the web came. So he's definitely a leader that stays up to date. So like I said, I copied his system. Basically it's our system here in Live Shots, but I copy the steps in the order that he recommends, and I incorporated it into my business. And in the beginning of the year, it worked. It worked for me because I brought in 12 team members. So I want to go back to that because I do see, now that I look back at my business, I see value. Okay. So first on the screen here, you see the 5-step system that we have in Live Shots. And this is just what we're always doing. This is how we grow our business. We invite, we present, we enroll and support, we follow up, and we advance. Let me also add before I go on, guys, that I also see the need of bringing our team training back. So again, last year I was doing team training just for us at Partners in Success. In the beginning of the year, I decided to stop doing the team training, and the reason I did that was because I felt like I was afraid that I was probably overwhelming my team with training, because we have such awesome training with Live Shots. So I wanted to just depend on that and not overwhelm everybody with training calls and with webinars. But I realize now that taking that away, it limits me the ability to work with you one-on-one closer and to help you work with your team. So network marketing, guys, it's all about duplication. It's all about duplication. And so what network marketing, how we define network marketing is getting a large group of people to do some simple steps in a consistent and a long period of time. And the way that we do that is through systems. It's through having an automated system that we put in that we can teach our leaders, and those leaders teach their leaders, and those leaders teach their leaders, and it just starts trickling down. But we support all of those leaders through team trainings. So I'm bringing back our team trainings, and especially I'm going to start by doing a weekly new representative training. Even though we do have an awesome back office and an awesome training, I have noticed that just saying go to the training, and depending on them to do their own training and then get back to us to do the 48-hour strategy session, is we're just getting stuck in this. The flow is just not going as well. So we're going to continue to send them to the team training, our training website, and to encourage them. We'll set the appointment for us to do the 48-hour I can think of what it's called now, launching their business. But we're also going to back it up by having a team training for new representatives in case for some reason you can't get your prospect on the phone one-on-one, or maybe they'll hop on this. And just in case we still can't get them on, but they did manage to bring in a team member where we can just go past them and get to the new team member by having them plug into the team training. So I'm going to be reaching out to you guys. I'm thinking either Sunday and Monday. I wanted to make sure that we have a day that everybody feels that is productive, and my leaders that are building, those are the leaders that I want to ask, what day do you think will be more productive, Sunday or Monday? I want to make sure that we start the week with a great training. Okay, so back to our 5-step system. So our 5-step system with Live Shots is: 1, we invite; 2, we present; 3, we enroll and we support; 4, we follow up; and 5, we advance. On this webinar, we're going to focus on the first 2, the invitation and the presentation. Okay, so we're going to talk about a 3-point invitation, and we're going to talk about a 4-step escalation prospecting system. Okay, and we'll start with the 3-point invitation. Guys, the invitation really is not a big deal. You don't have to go by this invitation, except for a couple of keywords that I'm gonna mention to you that you do need to make sure that you are including in your invitation. But having a standardized 3-point present invitation is just going to help us duplicate, and it's going to give our new representatives something to go by, something to get them started. It's going to give our new team members direction until they start feeling comfortable, and then they can modify their invitation according to their personality. So the first step on the 3-point invitation is first you introduce your business. And a lot of that, how you go about that, it has to do with who you are talking to. So if you're talking to someone uh, that the family member, which usually when we first get started, we start with a warm market, a friend, a coworker, a family member, a neighbor. When we're talking to them, then the presentation, I mean, the invitation is really laid back. But of course, we got to tell them, what's going on. So, hey, I'm so excited. I just launched a new business. I just started a new nutritional company. I just started a new product, a new business with a nutritional product. And again, those words don't matter how you want to say it. Most of the time, with the people I know, when I first got started, actually, people I know already know what I'm doing. But when I first got started, it was like, I'm calling you because I'm excited. I just started a new business, or I just recently launched a new business with a nutritional company. So when you're talking to someone that you don't necessarily know, maybe you're reaching out to someone um, uh, you met them when you're out and about, maybe a networking event, or you just met them somewhere for the first time, and you really got, you started a conversation going, and you really think, you know what, I really like her. I think she will be a good fit might be a good fit for my business. Then the way I introduce my business, I usually say my business is expanding in this area. So if it's in Houston, my business is expanding in Houston, or I'm expanding a new product line, a new business with a nutritional product line in Houston. Okay, so either of those would work. Somebody I just recently started a new business. I'm excited because I started a new business. I just launched a new business. And to someone that I don't know, I'm expanding a new nutritional company here in Houston. Or if it's somewhere, if they're not in Houston, if they're in Dallas, in Mississippi, I'm talking to them on Facebook or LinkedIn. Hey, I wanted to reach out to you because I see that you are in Dallas and I'm expanding my business to Dallas. So that's how I introduce my business. 2, we're going to our story. And in a minute, we're going to talk about what should be in your story. So after you say, I'm expanding my business to Dallas, then you go into your story, or you're talking to a team member. I'm excited because I just launched a new company with an awesome nutritional product that I know is going to impress you. Something along those lines. So then you go into your story, and we'll go over the story in a minute. And then 3 is you make the call to action. So this is where your story is what you don't change. And the second step is what you don't change. You go into your story, and the third step, making the call to action, is what you don't change. You have to make the invitation. You can't assume that they're going to say, "Oh, really? Tell me more about it." They're just going to say, "Oh, good for you. I'm happy for you." So you have to make the call to action. Are you open to taking a look? Now, for somebody compliment them, and it's going to be an honest compliment, because there's the reason why you're reaching out to them. There's the reason why they were on your first 20 list. Okay, so I think we'll be great business partners because, and then fill in the blank. Oh, I thought of you because, and then fill in the blank. I thought of you because I know that you were looking for extra income. I thought of you because I know that you're an entrepreneur at heart. I thought of you because I know how outgoing you are. Whatever it is that made you put them on the list. I thought of you because I would love to work with you. I love your integrity. I love your work ethics. Whatever it is, compliment them. I thought of you, and I don't know if this is for you or not, but are you open to taking a look? So those are the words that you don't change. That's how you make the call to action. Are you open to taking a look? For a stranger, after I introduce my business and I go briefly into my story, And actually, for a stranger, guys, I do flip flop them around. For a stranger that I just meeting, before I tell them my story, I make the call to action. I introduce my business, then I make the call to action. I don't know if this is something that you might be looking for, but I was curious to ask you, are you open? Do you keep your eyes open for ways to earn extra money on the side? Do you keep your eyes open for ways to earn additional cash flow? And that's how I introduce it to a stranger. If a stranger tells me maybe what is it, then I go into my story, and then I make the call to action again. Are you open to learning more about it? Okay, so introducing your business, and that's usually your icebreaker. I'm excited. I just started a new business. My company, my business is expanding in your area. When you're talking to someone, maybe on Facebook or somebody on LinkedIn, or a stranger that you connected to somehow, um, and your story, and then the call to action. So the call to action is, and it's okay to say, look, I don't know if this is for you or not. I always try to say that I don't know if this is for you or not, and it's okay if it's not. But I was curious to ask you, do you keep your eyes open for ways to earn extra money? The reason I always add, I don't know if this is for you or not, and it's okay if it's not, because that way I don't feel like I'm coming across like a stealthy person, and I'm giving them a way out. If I give them a way out, they're going to put their guard down, and they're going to be more open to listening to what else I have to say. Okay, because when you come across like you're coming across like you're selling, even if they are looking for extra income, nobody wants to be sold on, and most people are going to tell you no. They're going to start thinking, oh, it's one of those things. You know, some people have never been approached by network marketing, and some people are always being approached by network marketers. So, we don't want them to say, oh, one of those people again. So I give them a way out by saying, this may or may not be for you. I don't know if this is for you or not, but just curious to ask you, are you open to taking a look? You keep your eyes open for you keep your eyes open for additional income. Okay, so let's move on. The mastering the 3 point invitation. One, introducing your business for your icebreaker, going into your story, and then making the call to action. Are you open to taking a look? Okay, so briefly, your story should be composed of this bullet points. Who introduced you to live shots? Who introduced you to live shots? It's something that you do not want to live out, and how you know them, because we're going to make our point through our presentation that, look, this business grows by word of mouth. This business is easy to grow because you're just going to contact the people that you know. You're not going to go out there and try to sell someone into the business. Okay, so this business grows generically by people that you know, people that you meet on your daily routine. So that's a must. Make sure you don't leave that out, because that helps connect the dots for them when you get to the presentation. So then you go on to, what did they say about the product that made you try it? Did they talk about how much weight they were losing, or how great they feel, all the energy they had, and how much sleep they were getting, how much better they were sleeping, and that was the problem that you were having, and so it helped you solve that problem. And then once you tried it, what results did you have? You gotta give them your testimony. Why is it an awesome product for you? What they said about the business opportunity that intrigued you. When she asked you, when are you open to taking a look, or he asked you, why did you say yes? What intrigued you about? And it could have just been that, what, I knew nothing about the business yet, but I really liked her. I really respected her. I love the way that she came up to me. Whatever it is, this is the time for you to be honest, and be true to yourself as to what your true story. And then what made you partner with us, and what is your 4-year career? Now, at the end, what is your vision for your 4-year career or your 10-year career? You don't have to go into big details, but this is the opportunity that I've been looking for to help me stay home with my kids. This is the opportunity that I've been looking for so I can retire my husband. Whatever it is for you, don't be afraid to tell them your dreams and your goals here, even if it's a stranger. Because if your goal does not embarrass you, you're probably not dreaming big enough. And be bold. This business is about being bold. So be bold and put it out there. Why are you building this business? Okay. And so again, the call to action after you tell them your story. Are you open to taking a look? No big deal. You just want to say, this is something that you want to rehearse. You want to be able to, at a moment notice, you want to be able to tell your story. So make sure you have your story down, written down, and then practice it. So you can just, out of the blue, just come out with your story, because I want you to feel comfortable with your story. Okay, so now let's get into the juicy details, guys. This system works because it presents the business in a way that it's it was called escalation progression. So it presents the business in a way that every time they see it, it's bigger than the time before. So repetition with showing our business is crucial, because in this business, it's going to be rare. It's going to be rare. It does happen. It does happen. But it's going to be rare that someone will see the opportunity one time and they say, okay, I'm in. How do I get started? Especially when they hear the startup cost. I had a presentation last week, and as soon as she found out it was 875, and she found out, probably I didn't tell her, um, but I'm sure she went to the website and saw it. As soon as she found out it was 875, she got cold feet. And honestly, she was not the person that I was looking for. But it's this is a different business model for people. They don't stop in the beginning because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that, 875 to change your life is so worth it, and is really very inexpensive, because you're going to be at the end of your 4-year career. You have the high possibility of be making more money than someone with a franchise. Someone that minimum probably had to invest $40,000. So they don't know what they don't know in the beginning. So we got to show them the business more than one time. So the escalation progression is all about repetition, making sure they see this in at least three different presentations. Now, there are people that join the business on the first presentation, but most of the time, guys, that happens when you had a room full of people and there was some excitement going on in the room, and it was all about social proof, and they got excited and they say, I'm in. But, until we start building that momentum in your team, you're not going to have that room full of people right away. So until you start building that momentum in your team, escalation progression is going to help you a lot. And I'll explain a little bit more what that is. But this is the key points to this system. So it's about repetition. It's going to provide social proof. It takes the prospects through the decision-making process. Again, they see the presentation at least 3 different times by 3 different people, and it just takes them through that decision-making process. You don't stop the process until your prospect takes himself out of the equation. So you don't stop until they say, I'm in, but only as a preferred customer. No, thank you, this isn't for me. Or sign me up, I'm ready to become a brand rep. Okay, not until you get either 3 of those, that's when you stop. Otherwise, you take it to the end. And then every step is going to have a corresponding tool, because this is all about tools. It's not about you being the expert, because again, you're here to build a large income, at least $4,000, minimum maybe $10,000 a month. You got to get to that 5th, 6th, 7th generation. And the only way we're going to get down to the 5th, 6th, 7th generation is by having a system in place that is duplicatable, and being the expert in the room, being the expert in the beginning. When it's your prospect, it's going to be hard for us to get down to that 5th level. You want to be the expert when you're the upline of the person that is presenting, that is showing the business. You don't want to be the expert when you're the person that is showing the business. And then at every step, we're looking for their commitments. They have to commit that, yes, I'm going to go to the next step. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for you to follow up. So as we go through this, it's going to make a little more sense. Okay, so this is our 4-step escalation. Like I said, each step it's a little bit bigger than the time before, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. So in the beginning is the invite. Okay, in the beginning, the tool that you're them, are you open to taking a look? The tool that you are using is your story and your wake up call, the wake up call video. So you every time you leave a prospect, even if it's in person or on the phone, you don't want to just say, okay, see you Thursday, or whenever you set the next appointment, but you want to leave them with the tool. So even at the simple invitation, we want to leave them with the wake up video. Now, if you don't have the wake up video DVD on hand, we do have that you can email them on our prospecting system. So you make the invitation, you went through the 3 steps of making the invitation, you told them your story, you made the call to action. Are you open to taking a look? Great. Now the next step is to set up the appointment for the presentation, which is going to be the next step. You set up that appointment for the presentation, and then if you have the wake up call DVD on hand, you're going to leave them with that tool, and you're going to tell them, I didn't write this down, so make sure you write this down. If I give you this DVD, it's only 5 minutes. Will you watch it before we meet again or before we talk again? If I and will you is the words that you want to remember, and those are the words that are going to make them commit to what they're agreeing that they're going to do. Okay, so if I email you a 5-minute video, will you have a chance to watch it? Will you watch it before we talk again? And guys, they're always going to say yes. But by them saying yes, I'll watch it, they committed to doing it. And that's going to be their first look. Okay, that's their first look, is the wake up call video. So you made the invitation. They say yes, they're open to taking a look. You made the appointment for the presentation. You left them with the tool, and the tool is the wake up call. If I and would you, if I email you a 5-minute video, will you have a chance to watch it before we talk again? And if you have a DVD in hand, if I give you this DVD, it's only 5 minutes long. Will you have a chance to watch it before we meet again? Okay, so make them commit to yes, I'll watch it, and then confirm the appointment. Repeat the appointment. Once you set the appointment, we're going to meet Thursday at 7 o'clock. You're going to come to my house, or we're going to talk on the phone, or we're going to meet at Starbucks. Confirm that appointment before you hang up the phone, before you leave that person. Great. So we're gonna meet at Starbucks 7 o'clock next Thursday. And if there's a problem, if I can't make it, I'm going to respect your time and call you. Will you do the same to me and let me know ahead of time if you can't make it? Okay, so usually by saying those words, they say yes, and they're gonna call you. They're gonna call you and cancel rather than them not showing up. Okay, so that's the first step. The next step is the invitation. So the first step was just a little video that they watched. Now it gets a little bigger on the presentation, because now it's the presentation. It's you and the presentation. Okay, now it's you and them, not just them in the video at home, but now it's them, you and them in person. Now, the tool that we're going to use is the flip chart, and here you can either do a home party, a launch event. I should say a launch event. You can meet them one-on-one at a Starbucks. They can come to your house. You can go to their house. You can do Skype. You can do it over the phone in case you're not. Over the computer in case you're not in the same city. This is not the step that I want you to invite them to the webinar. The presentation at this step is just you and them. So whether if it's at your home because you're doing a launch event, through Skype because you're not in the same city, or a Starbucks. And it doesn't matter if you use the video that's on the website or if you do the actual flip chart presentation while you hold in the flip chart. So this step is just you and them. Okay, this step is just you and them doing the flip chart. their takeaway tool, because like I said, they're always going to take away a tool. Their takeaway tool is probably going to be some samples and the 4-year career, the 4-year career book. Okay, so at the end of the presentation, most likely they're going to say, they're either going to say, yes, I'm ready to get started. Yes, I want to be a preferred customer, or you know what, I need to try the product. Okay, most likely they're going to say they're going to try the product. Now it's up to you at this step if you just give them, if you give them one to take home and try. If you came prepared to shake up and shot and a shake there, the presentation, so they can taste it. If they already tasted it, they're probably going to say, well, I need to see if it works for me. So then you're going to encourage them to go online and place an order, either for one bag and one box or for 1 month supply. You know, that's up to them. So I don't want to go too deep into this. So their takeaway tool is going to be samples um, and the 4-year career book. Okay, so at this step, it's just you and them. Okay, just you and them in the flip chart. It doesn't matter what way you present it, it's just you and them. Now the next step is going to be the 3-way call. So now it's a little bit bigger because now it's you, them, and your upline. And on the 3-way call, we're going to be doing leapfrogging. We're going to be answering their questions. How do you get into a 3-way call? Well, after the flip chart, if they have a lot of questions, remember, you don't want to be the expert yet. You only want to be the expert when you're the upline. So you don't want to be the expert. You got to get them on the phone with your upline. You know what? I really want you to meet Isabel, or whoever the upline is. She's been doing this business a lot more longer than me, and I want to make sure that you get all your questions answered. If opportunity doesn't come up with their asking questions, a way that I get Lisa on the phone if they're not asking questions, I just start talking about Lisa and telling them why I partner with her and why I'm so excited and what a great mentor she is to me. And she's the #1 income earner in live Shotz. And then I'll usually say, I really want you to meet her. Let me get her on the phone. And then if there's something in common, then I might say, oh, you two have this in common. But if not, don't worry about that. But I really want you to meet Lisa. Talk about your upline. I really want you to meet whoever your upline is. Talk about some great pointers why you love your upline. Let me get her on the phone. So don't feel like you have to ask permission. It's just normal. And if they're excited, if they're excited about the presentation, they're not going to say, no, I don't want to talk to her. And if they're saying that, they probably already took themselves out of the equation. They're probably already saying, no, thanks, this isn't for me. And then it ends there. But if they're saying, well, you know what, maybe I think I need to try the product, I need to research this a little bit longer, then you know what, or they just have lots of questions, you know what, let me get Isabel on the phone, or whoever your upline is. Let me get my upline on the phone. She's been doing this a lot longer than me, and I want to make sure you get your questions answered. Or just simply, I really want you to meet Isabel or whoever your upline is. I want you to see what the support system that we have. However you want to state it, just don't ask permission. I promise you that if they're excited, they're not going to be saying, oh, no, don't get her on the phone. Just get your upline on the phone. And on the phone, the upline is going to give her story, her brief story. She's going to say, what questions can I answer for you? She'll go over some details of the pay plan, because that's usually the question, how do we get paid? Well, and by the way, that's another way that you can get your upline on the phone, by saying, I really want you to introduce Isabel to you, or whoever your upline is, and she's going to explain to you how we get paid. They all want to know that. So once you say that, she's going to explain to you how we get paid. They're in. They're like, okay, and they're waiting patiently. But now at this level, guys, now it's you, them, and your upline. So now it gets a little bit more excited, because now there's 3 persons. So again, we started with just them in the video. You make the invitation, you send them home to look at a video, their first look. Then a little bit more exciting, because now it's you and them in person, and the video or the flip chart presentation. So now there's 2 involved. The third step is escalating to 3 people. Now it's you, them, and their upline. And your upline is excited, and they're excited because this person's already making money in the business. and just telling them what she loves about the product and what she loves about the business, and answering all their questions. And after that, if at that three-way call they're not ready to get started and there's still a maybe, at, at that point, we're probably just going to say, okay, great, I want you to try the product, because they're most likely going to say, I really need to try the product. Great. You'll decide if it's going to be a 5-day pack they're going to try, if they're going to try it for the month, they're going to order, or whatever the conversation is there. But we're going to make the invitation to the webinar to meet the tribe. So now it really gets exciting, guys, because now they get to hear either from Lisa, from Kimmy, from Richard, or whoever the top leader is that's inviting. And it's a webinar full of people. Now it starts getting more exciting because now there's more people involved. And they start, seeing the comments on the webinar. They really fall in love with Kimmy or with Lisa or whoever the leader is. They try to, usually the leader that's doing the presentation is somebody with credibility, like somebody like there was a chiropractor, a nurse practitioner, a fitness guru, somebody that has credibility. So now they're thinking, wow, okay. So now it gets more exciting. Okay, so you see how the steps work. Escalation, every step gets a little bit more exciting and a little more exciting. So it's been my experience that if they get to the fourth step, guys, they're in. And they might not be in right away. They're probably reading the 4-year career book. They're probably trying the products. But if they got to the fourth step, they're in. The people that are not, that fall through the cracks, that fall through one of the other 3 steps, that's not the people that you were looking for, and then you're not wasting any more time trying to follow up. Okay? So again, every step is more exciting than the last. Every step has a tool. The invite, the tool is your wake-up call and your story. The presentation is the flip chart. You leave them with the 4-year careers and some samples. The 3-way call, the tool is your upline, and then the webinar is your tool. So in none of the steps, nowhere did you have to be an expert. You just had to be an expert at telling your story with passion and excitement and enthusiasm, but you don't have to be the expert in presenting the business, and that is going to duplicate. And this is going to take your prospects to a decision-making process, and they're going to see social proof at every step of the way. They're going to see social proof because each step gets bigger than the last. And they made it to the last step. They're going to say yes eventually. Almost everyone that came to me, I have to go back and look at my numbers to be 100% positive, but I'm pretty 99% positive that every recruit that I took to the last level to the webinar, they came in. So if you notice, you probably noticed that I don't always have someone on the webinar, and that's because they haven't made it to that step. If I haven't done a one-on-one presentation, and if I haven't done a 3-way call with Lisa, I'm not inviting them to the webinar yet. Okay? All right. So again, systems and tools are going to allow you to duplicate. Get down to the 5th, 6th, 7th generation, guys, and that's where the magic happens. That's where the income starts jumping from 4,000 to 8,000, and then tripling again. So the system is having the 4 steps, and all the way along we're using the tools. Okay, let's talk really quick about leapfrogging and working through objections. And this is something that we're going to cover in our team training. But leapfrogging is something that we're most likely going to do during the 3-way call. And that's when we start explaining to them the comp plan. And they start thinking, you know what, I don't know anyone that's going to want to do this. I don't know anyone that wants to make extra money. None of my family is going to care about getting healthy. Well, through leapfrogging, we're going to start talking to them about certain people in certain professions. And when we say, you know what, teachers are great, could be great at this industry because they are dealing with kids all day long. They need their energy to run around, to stay after the kids. And they're in the conference room and they're shaking up their shake during their meal, because we all know that the cafeteria foods are not all that great. And people are asking them, what are you drinking? So, we start giving them examples like that. They start thinking, oh, you know what? When we say, how many teachers do you know? Or how many nurses do you know? Or they were on the webinar and well, they weren't on the webinar yet, but we'll start talking about if there are or we'll start talking about nurse practitioners that are in our company, and we'll start asking them, who do you know that's a nurse practitioner? Well, everybody has a doctor and probably a nurse practitioner in their family that they go to. So leapfrogging, we'll practice more in other webinars, but that's something that we're going to do on three-way calls. And eventually, once you get good at it, through listening through your upline, you're going to be able to leapfrog anyone, and it's just going to be easier to bring people into the business. And then working through objections, it's something that we'll also talk about and we'll learn and we'll teach to our team. And this is something that we can either do on the three-way call, or you can do it yourself when you start thinking, no, I don't have time for this business after they saw the presentation. Okay, so just have those in mind. We're going to be talking more, learning more about leapfrogging and working through objections, and we're going to be teaching our team this too, being great at those two practices. Okay, the follow-up. So the great thing about our system, guys, is that we know what to do next. Okay, we know that, okay, I did the invitation, so now I'm going to do the one-on-one. I did the one-on-one, so now I'm going to do a three-way call. We did the three-way call, so now we're going to invite them to the webinar. You don't know what to invite them to next, so it's going to be easier to follow up, and you're not going to hang up the phone with them until you say, okay, so if I give you this video, if I email you this video, you're going to watch it, right? And confirm with them, okay, we're going to talk next Thursday, right? And then when you get your upline on the phone, great. While you try on the three-way call, so while you try the product and you read the 4-year career books, we have a webinar next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central Time. Can you be in front of your computer at that time? Great. We're going to email you the video. We're going to email you the link the day before, and then text you a reminder to be on. So, because we're going through a process, we're going step by step. It's going to be easier if you follow up, and they're going to commit to doing the next step before you hang up. And it's just going to be a simpler process. Now, there's still going to be people that are going to feel like you got to chase them around. Things happen in life. People don't always do what they say, either because there were no and we just need to leave them alone, or because they got busy with kids, with family, with work, with whatever, and we understand. But, only 10% of network marketers actually follow through, So you got to make sure that once you talk to that prospect and you set up the appointment, I really encourage you guys to get a paper calendar and put it on your calendar, because if it's not on your calendar, it's probably not going to work. And it's happened to me many times where I forget. I think, okay, I'm going to put it in my calendar in a minute, and then I don't put it in my calendar, and then I'm texting them the next day, oh my God, we were supposed to talk today, and I totally forgot. And I usually don't say that. I usually say an excuse. I usually say something about it. But it's because I didn't put it in my calendar right away and I forgot about it. So put it on your calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it's probably not gonna happen. And if you don't have a paper calendar, I strongly encourage you to have an agenda and always have it with you. Always have it with you. If you're a successful network marketer, if you're aiming to be a successful network marketer, your calendar is with you everywhere you go. Okay? Alrighty. So a quick list of quick tips of how to never run out of people to talk to. On the left-hand side, the basics that we already know that everybody starts with on the warm market: friends, family, co-workers, people you went to school with, people that you went to college with, people that you went to university with. So you start with your warm market. People that you used to work with, not just people that you work with now, neighbors. I didn't put that on there. Okay, so just people that you know. Another way that I like to build my list is business cards at bulletin boards. And business cards are everywhere, not just that. There's certain restaurants that at their checkout or somewhere, especially if it's a restaurant where they have regular networking events, and that's in a lot of restaurants nowadays. If they have some kind of conference room somewhere in the restaurant, they're going to have business cards where people left their business cards behind. So restaurants you can pick up, libraries. My library near my house, they have a bulletin board, and they also have a little counter where people are always leaving business cards. So, just always be on the lookout for business cards and pick up the business cards. And you'll be surprised how many business cards you can collect in 1 week as long as you keep your eye out for them. Social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. How many friends do you have there? And always be on the lookout for more friends. Join certain groups. I know groups can get a little overwhelming on Facebook, but join groups there are maybe in your area, like I don't know, garage sales groups or uh, mm, I can't think of any on the top of my head, but there's so many groups. So join groups that you can friend people on that group. People start a conversation and then friend them. You don't have to pitch them or talk to them about your business right away. Befriend them. Always be growing your Facebook list, and then be on the lookout for comments that you can make here and there. When somebody likes your post, send them a message, thank you, so you can start connecting with them. You can always be growing your list on social media, on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great to connect with. Also Facebook, but LinkedIn people are looking for people like realtors. There's so many realtors on LinkedIn because they want you to think of them when it's time for you to buy also your home. So a realtor, whether if it's on any kind of social media, they're never going to decline you. They're always going to accept your invitation. Okay, so and then networking groups. Go out and network. There's here in Houston, and I'm sure in your city too. There's tons of networking events, and once you find one, you will have access to others because you can start asking, well, where else do you network? Meetup is a great place to start. If you don't know, I don't know where networking events is in my area. Go to Meetup. Go to your city. Type in interest, and it could just be business women and all kinds of stuff comes up. So go out, network, and collect those business cards. And then another training, we'll talk about how you can. It's okay to just you say a quick hi and then get to the point. It's like, look, I'm calling you because we met at this networking event. We really didn't get a chance to connect, but my business is expanding here in the area, and I'm looking for people with your skills in leadership. Um, I was just curious to ask you if you keep your eyes open for ways to increase your cash flow, for ways to make money on the side. Okay, so that's one side, and then on the other side, this list on the right hand side I heard last night on MLM. What is it called? MLM. It's a podcast that is fairly new. I can't think of the name now. MLM Nation. MLM Nation. You have an iPhone, look them up, go to podcast and look them up. They're also on Facebook. There was a leader that was from Canada that was being interviewed last night, and he gave this group this list, and I loved it. So these are I'm going to challenge you to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lists of people to sit down and make 6 lists and see how many you can come up with. So the first people that used to be in network marketing, and we're not here to steal anyone from another company. We're going to honor them if they're already building a business in network marketing. To me, when somebody used to and still does try to recruit me, I always see it as, why are you trying to steal my dreams? You didn't even ask me how I'm doing. Why are you assuming that I'm not doing well? But if you know that you know that were a network marketer and you don't see them posting about their company anymore, send them a message and say, I'm just wondering, are you still doing it works? You never know. I do that all the time when I notice that someone's not posting about their business like they used to. Just ask them, just curious, are you still doing it works? And then they say yes, okay, great. I was just curious because I haven't seen you post anything about it. And then the conversation might grow from that. And then if they are still doing it, and then later they decide to leave or they decide to look for a new home, they might think of you because you started a conversation. Okay, but they might say, you know what? No, I stopped. So in last year or whatever, uh, what happened, and just get into the conversation to see if they're open to looking at a new opportunity. So start that list. People with any kind of entrepreneurship or small business experience, they're entrepreneurs, guys. They're their own. They like being their own boss. So anybody that owns a hair salon, anybody that owns anything, any kind of small business entrepreneur, make a list of people that you know or small businesses in your area, and then we can talk one on one on how to approach them. or we'll do a webinar, team webinar, how to approach them. And then people in certain professions that go well with us. Somebody in the fitness, somebody in the health profession, somebody in the beauty industry, like hair salons or makeup artists or, who knows. And that's when when you're picking up business cards around town, then you can categorize them, realtors and fitness and beauty. And then we'll think about how you can approach them specifically to the industry. And then once you have a script for that industry, then it's just picking up the phone and picking up the phone one after the other to make the call. Real estate agents, insurance brokers, another list that you can make. What I've been doing around town, especially in my neighborhood, I see a house for sale. I snap a picture of the sign. And then I call them and say, hey, I got your number because you have a house for sale in my subdivision. And I know you're busy. I won't take any of your time. I'm just curious to ask you super quick if you keep your eyes open for ways to earn extra income, because my business is expanding here in Houston. And they'll start saying what kind of business is it that I know that they're probably open. The people will say, oh no, I'm just too busy. No, there's no possible way I can pick up another whatever. Okay, great, thanks. So it's a simple conversation. And then people who have influence in the community, if, get involved in your school, or at least know about, if you have kids in school, know who the PTO moms are there. Know who's involved in church. If you go to church, who are the church leaders? The church teachers. So anybody that holds any kind of leadership position. If you are in a subdivision that has the association, I forget what it's called, the association that you pay every year, who's the part of those? Who's the people in your neighborhood that participate in those boards? So just being out in your community, guys, and meeting people and knowing who's who and who's what, so you can have access to them. All right, so I think that is it. Just want to leave you with this stats, and I got this stats guide from a network marketing company. I can't remember which one, but I'm always looking, seeing what's going on, who's doing what, so we can stay current, so we can stay with the trends. And I'm always looking at top leaders. I'm always looking at who's making money, what are they doing. So then I look at their company, I look at their training. Now we have so much to offer here with LifeLab, so I don't do that as much as I used to. But I always used to always looking. I was always looking at top leaders to see who's doing what and how they're growing and what's their system look like. And that's how I came to LifeLab, because I knew of Lisa, and I knew of Richard, because I was always looking at other top leaders. So I got this from a company. I can't remember who it was. It might have been New Skin. I can't remember which one. But these are stats that they had in their training manual. So if you enroll 20 people, 12 will do something. 8 will do nothing. Within 60 days, within 60 days of enrolling 20 people, you will have 8 people doing something. In 4 months, you will have 6 team members doing something. In 9 months, you will have 4 team members doing something. In 1 year, you will have 1 team member that's accounting for 80% of your income, and 3 team members that will account for 20% of your income. Okay? That's powerful, guys, because what does this bring you down to? This brings you down to 4. The 4-year career that Richard is always teaching us. The 4 who get 4 who get 4. Stats don't lie. We all know that Richard is a numbers guy. He's been in the industry over 30 years. He knows his numbers. So recruit 20 and have 4 people that are building your team. But Richard tells us that recruit 30, 40 in 1 year, another 30, 40 the next year. And that's going to give you a massive income at the end of your 4-year careers. So how fast do you want to get there? Do you want to be making good money in 2 years? Do you want to be making great money in the next 6 months? It's all going to be according to how fast you want to grow. The way I look at it is, you know what? all I have to recruit, and I bring it. I say 100. We don't have to recruit that many. But in my last company, I recruited 300, over 300 people. If I recruited 300 there, I can do 100 here. And my motivation of doing 100, guys, is that 100 is probably going to give me an income of about $50,000. Now that's my goal a month, $50,000 a month. That's my goal. So I don't want to impose my goal on you. What is your goal? How much do you want to make? But I know my top leaders, they want to be financially independent. So we got to go through the numbers. It's just a numbers game. We just got to go through the numbers. And we are looking for the people who are looking for us. And that's why our system, when they start falling off the system, that's not who we're looking for. And we move on to the next one. We always follow up. We always try to follow up again and touch base with them again just because life happens. But we're not wasting any time trying to chase someone. Okay? If they didn't get excited enough to get to a fourth step, and it's been my experience, guy, that the right person, I get to the fourth step with ease, without hesitation, without having to chase them around. They're excited, and in each step they got more and more excited, and I get into the fourth step and they sign up. So know your stats, stay consistent, stay focused, and never hesitate to reach out to me. Stay plugged in so your team can stay plugged in. So I'm going to close this, and let me see. Let me stop sharing my screen. What I'm going to do now, and I'm sorry, my light here is awful. I'm going to jump on the Aces in Actions call line. So if you have any questions, hop on there too, and I'll answer your questions. And in the future, and I think I'm going to end up recording this again anyway. But in the future, when I do a hangout, our trainings, I'm going to do a Google Hangout where you'll be able to jump on the screen with me, and I can answer your questions or have a chat on the side. Okay, I was going to stop the recording, but I think that'll get me off the phone. Okay, so I'm jumping on the phone in case you have any questions. Jump on the phone too. If you don't have any questions, you don't have to jump on the phone. Now the wrong number. Okay, so like I said, I am going to record this again. So, and then I'll post it on our Facebook group so you can watch it again. And the more you watch it, the more sense it will make. Oh, I always forget the host code. Let me look it up real quick. Let me look up the host code. Okay, and it's already 7:09, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. If no one is on the phone when I jump on, then I will let you go. And no, don't hesitate to call me afterwards. Okay, so I guess no questions. We can talk one-on-one, and I can answer your questions if you have, and I'll be reaching out to you to get your thoughts on this, and just to make sure that you got the 4 steps. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's hot here in Houston, but enjoy the weather, enjoy the weekend, and talk to you soon, guys. Thank you.